It all started the day I realized J.K. Rowling was not, in fact, a misunderstood professor of defense against the dark arts but had become something far more terrifying, the supreme inquisitor of gender opinions. I used to think Voldemort was the main villain of the wizarding world, but apparently, he's been replaced by a Scottish woman with a Wi-Fi connection and an urgent need to publicly misunderstand what a transgender person is. Let me set the scene. You're a young muggle-born wizard. You've survived bullies, trolls in the dungeon, maybe even a casual basilisk attack. Then you come out as trans and find out the greatest danger of all isn't he who must not be named, it's she who will not stop tweeting. Now, I want to be generous. I want to believe that maybe Rowling was under a confundus charm. Or perhaps she looked into a cursed mirror that shows only bathroom door signs. But alas, no. This is pure, unfiltered ego served straight from the cauldron of entitlement. She claims to be fighting for real women, like she's some sort of chosen one sent from the Department of Magical Definitions. I didn't know womanhood needed defending by someone whose greatest contribution to the modern era is making billions off the suffering of a fictional orphan. But apparently, she's the guardian of the sacred cisgender goblet now, and trans people are the new dark arts. She says she's concerned about erasing women. I'd like to point out that the only person who's ever erased a woman in this saga is J.K. Rowling, who managed to delete any chance of being a role model the moment she decided compassion was optional and arrogance was canon. If empathy were an OWL subject, she'd have failed it and blamed the grading scale. Let's get something straight, trans people are not Death Eaters. We're not trying to sneak into your bathrooms via Polyjuice Potion. We don't use gender-neutral pronouns to summon demons or rewrite the laws of magic. We just want to live without getting Avada Kedavraed by public opinion every time we breathe near a cisgender's comfort zone. Rowling, though, thinks we're part of some elaborate plot. A conspiracy so powerful it makes the Triwizard Tournament look like a group project. She imagines we're all standing around in robes, whispering plans to infiltrate locker rooms and cast Expelliarmus on the very idea of womanhood. As if the worst thing that could happen to feminism is that someone transitioned. She wrote an essay. A long one. It was like a Horcrux, except instead of hiding a piece of her soul, she hid every ounce of logic. Reading it felt like being trapped in the room of requirement during a fire, with no exit, no air, and no spell strong enough to extinguish the flames of ignorance. And the language, my God. You'd think she was speaking Parseltongue the way she slithers around saying, biological sex is real, like it's a revolutionary concept instead of a tired misdirection. She wields science like a wand made of dry toast. Every time she tries to invoke biology, a Hogwarts ghost bursts into tears and rereads Judith Butler. What really makes my wand snap is how she insists she's being silenced. Silenced. This from a woman who could post a selfie of herself turning trans rights into a cursed object and still be invited onto the BBC to explain how victimized she is. Silenced, says the woman whose every thought is published, syndicated, laminated, and made into clickbait faster than a golden snitch. Let me translate that for those not fluent in Rowlingese. Silenced means people are disagreeing with me. It's like watching Gilderoy Lockhart trip over his own ego and then sue the floor for attacking him. If Rowling is being silenced, then I'm the Minister of Magic. Her fans will tell you she's just worried about the children. Yes, just like Lucius Malfoy was worried about school standards when he tried to murder Muggleborns. If J.K. Rowling cared about children, she'd be out here advocating for trans kids who are homeless, bullied, and denied healthcare, not writing tweets that embolden every internet troll who's ever used woke as a slur while microwaving Hot Pockets in their mum's basement. She has the magical privilege of never needing to learn anything. She's the Hermione Granger of bigotry, always with her hand up, interrupting reality with a smug smile and a factoid from 1996. Excuse me, but technically, no, Joanne. Put the wand down. Nobody's casting spells on your womanhood. We're just asking you to stop publicly crucifying people like it's a ministry-sanctioned sport. But oh no, she needs to keep going. Because when you have the power of 500 million book sales, you must use it to make life harder for people who've never harmed you. It's very noble, really. She could have used her platform to spread joy. Instead, she used it to resurrect Grindel's ideology with a gender studies diploma from Facebook University. She claims to support freedom of speech, but what she means is freedom to talk uninterrupted while pretending dissent is abuse. She's allergic to criticism but addicted to provocation. Every time someone challenges her, she clutches her metaphorical robes and gasps like someone suggested Dobby should unionize. And now, she's retroactively trying to make her books relevant to her views. You remember when she said Dumbledore was gay after publishing the books? Well, now I'm just waiting for her to claim that the Whomping Willow was actually a gender-critical metaphor and Hogsmeade was founded on single-sex spaces. She'll probably announce next that the Sorting Hat refused to place trans students because sex is immutable. It's not enough for her to be wrong. She needs to be wrong loudly, daily, and righteously. It's like watching a magical Karen slowly transform into a boggart fueled entirely by moral panic and fanfiction about chromosomes. Her house elf name is, did you not read the essay? She says she's scared of a world where gender is a spectrum. That's ironic, considering she created an entire world full of shifting staircases, magical creatures, and ghosts who can't pee. But now she draws the line at gender diversity. You can believe in flying cars and talking hats, but the idea that someone's gender might not match their assigned sex is where your suspension of disbelief fails. This isn't just ignorance. This is curated, artisanal, high thread count, triple-filtered arrogance with a splash of fear and a whole cauldron of bitterness. She's no longer the author of my childhood. She's the cautionary tale my adulthood sends letters home about. Dear reader, today we learned how not to use a platform. I'm tired. Tired of being polite. Tired of being expected to treat her bigotry as reasonable discourse. If she wants to play the role of gender's gatekeeper, she can do it from the forbidden forest where the rest of the outdated relics go to die. Let her build her castle on an island of biological essentialism and tweet to the wind. Because here's the truth, trans people aren't going anywhere. We've existed in every corner of history, in every corner of magic. We are not a new invention. We are not a fad. We are not a threat. We are not something for J.K. Rowling to analyze like a cursed object in Nocturne Alley. We are people. And no matter how many words she writes, no matter how many sympathizers she summons with her dark mark of misunderstanding, she cannot erase us. We are not a plot hole in her story. We are the authors of our own. So go ahead, Joanne. Keep casting your hexes from behind a screen. Keep wrapping your prejudice in literary metaphors and scientific misquotes. Just don't expect the rest of us to bow. We've fought bigger villains than you, and they didn't have Wi-Fi.